Hello, everyone. Welcome to Delivering Differently. I'm Prateek Jain, and I will be host for today's episode. It feels great to be here hosting today, and I'm looking forward to a fantastic conversations with our guests. But before that, let me invite our co-host Piyush Poddar, our VP of Partnerships at Axelerant. Hey, Piyush.
Hey, Prateek. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. So good to be
Happy
back.
Friday. I guess we can get started. So today we have a very special guest on our show. We are going to talk about our Red Hat engagement. Red Hat is known to everybody at Excellent and beyond. Red Hat is a global leader in open source solutions and also provides large scale enterprises IT solutions fostered by community, right? And that's what we enjoy as well working with Red Hat. And to talk more about it, we are joined by Brent Baker. Brent is the Director of User Experience Engineering. Let's have him here. Welcome to the show, Brent.
Hi, hello. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hello, good morning. How are you doing today, Brent?
Very well.
So
Same
glad
here.
to have you engage with our larger team within Accelerant. Obviously, you are talking to a lot of our folks working on various projects that we work together on Red Hat. But Red Hat, happens to be one of the poster clients for Accelerant. So yeah, thank you once again. A very good morning, and let's do this.
So let's get started, Brent. We have been partnering with Red Hat for about 8 years now or more than that, right? And it has been quite a journey. Can you reflect on how this partnership has evolved, particularly from the early days to where we are today?
Yes, in the early days, I mean, it's always been a really good partnership. I think that there was a bit of a perceived chance, taking a chance on a smaller firm versus going with some large, big name. But we were looking for a good value, and value does not mean the lowest price going. It was, are we getting a good product for the price that we're paying? And that sort of began the relationship. And it did not take very long to realize that we really made a good decision by going with Accelerant. The team has largely been intact. Red Hat has initiated a couple of pauses in the relationship during this journey, but when we go back, Accelerant always takes care of us and gets the band back together and people that we're familiar with, and they're familiar with our processes, our systems, and we pick up and take off again. We've had a rather long term, I guess it's been a number of years since we've paused it, but the team rarely has changed. We had one time where we changed team members. Took a little while to find somebody, but we found someone. But when we found them, they really were the right fit for the team. The team has always had great things to say about the Accelerant team. And I don't want to go too far into the future in some of the questions, but we found that people had more skills than what we were looking for at the time. So as our business evolved and changed over those 8 years, we discovered, and we had to go somewhere to find people with a certain skill set. We would find Accelerant is like, we do more than just one thing. So, and this is with the same individuals, not different individuals. So we were really maximizing using the resources that we had for various things. And people have just been great. Going from a participant to, hey, what's my next task, to leading, to helping us onboard people, which would take stress off of the North American team because the team with Accelerant was so well versed in how we operate. There was no need for Red Hatters to onboard new people, and then even leading certain initiatives and being the expertise in the room. And we have an operating model that makes sure that Red Hatters are aware of all that's going on. And so that conversation of allowing Accelerant to lead the conversations and do some architecting and some design and bringing that back and having a collaborative conversation and, yep, that's good, or maybe a little to the left or a little to the right. And that's just how we do it, even within our own team at Red Hat in North America. So it was a very, very thin line between, are they Accelerant or are they Red Hat? So it's been a great relationship over those 8 years.
Yeah, thank you.
I always, refer to the Red Hat team we manage, kind of a verbiage for folks that have been working on Red Hat engagements for so long.
Just to kind of, this reminded me of, right? I mean, we run these engagement sentiment internally, and it's on 10 from the entire Red Hat team almost every single time. So it also speaks about like how our team enjoys and they see themselves as part of the Red Hat team as well, right? And then also align with that culture and then backed by the open source fundamentals as well, right? Piyush, a quick question to you. You have been involved with Red Hat engagement since beginning, right? And what was the starting point? Do you recollect that? And can you share more on that?
Yeah, sure. I actually looked up, past conversation and notes before, me preparing for this show. And that reminded me, 2016, we've been talking to a few other people from Red Hat. I remember Jason Hibbets and Chad Dills, and then there was an email thread. So that's when we started talking about this particular opportunity. We have been working on the opensource.com portal and the Enterprises project. These two websites, heavy traffic. Back in the days, there was some sort of a support arrangement. Acquia was also involved, and there was one more thing common. When we started working on Red Hat, which is kind of has to do something with the culture that we have here at Accelerate. And the name's Jim Whitehurst. Jim was a president of Red Hat, and he has been a phenomenal leader in the digital space globally. And he wrote a book called The Open Organization. It's a mirror image here. I remember 2016 or 2017 when Ankur suggested, hey, this is the kind of a culture we want to build in the kind of a capacity and scale that we operate. And the entire strategy team within Accelerate, I think it was about 5 people. We received this book in our mailbox, and then we read through this, and then we connected, and then we did a lot of ideation around how do we want to build Accelerate as a culture and as a lifestyle company. I believe a lot of that is still there. I'm sure Ankur can talk a lot more about those things when he's here. That's another commonality between us and Red Hat. I would say that's there. Besides that, we started working. I was engaged. I was kind of the workforce manager back in the days. Brent had asked for profiles. I've been sharing profiles. Again, incredible developers and designers. I remember Alia, Arup Kumar, and many others. Some of these people are still with us. Isn't that amazing? I think we've not stopped, or we haven't really made any significant decline in that over this area. It has been a great journey. So many interesting memories and milestones.
You're bringing back a lot of memories back to 2016. You're exactly right.
That's right.
And
That's
interesting that you brought up how our careers have grown. We've watched our careers grow.
But that's the fun part of these conversations, right? Reflecting back on. And I also remember this very clearly because this was the year when Drupal 6 was nearing end of life. There was a DrupalCon New Orleans conference. We had a Drupal 6 mortuary, a parade, and then we went to a bar. And I still remember, standing there talking to Jason for almost half an hour. Avi Goel was there. Brent, we didn't met in person, I think, 2016, but later, obviously, we met at Raleigh.
That's right.
And it has been a great. So yeah, I think that's how we started.
Yeah, no, so I joined Axelerant in 2017. So yeah, since then I've been hearing and learning about Red Hat and all. But yeah, thank you for sharing, Piyush and Brent. That. And Ankur on the chat says that really grateful to you, Brent, and Red Hat team and entirety for really taking care of our people. All right. So moving on, right? I mean, obviously, Brent, you shared a lot about this collaboration and then growing into the things as well, right? For you yourself as well, it has been 13 years at Red Hat, I believe, and you've also recently switched to this new role as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about this new role as well?
Yes, I'm very excited about it. It's sort of old and new. I was in IT. Me and my team were in IT doing digital experience is the more modern phrase for it. And of course, in true marketing fashion, we've gone through various branding efforts of what we're doing, but it really does center and focus around our experiences of Red Hat. And this was just for one property, for www.redhat.com, our flagship marketing property. But there are, like many other companies, there are many other properties where it's for customer support, it's for product engagement, it's for training. So we have a model at Red Hat where there's not a singular web division that sort of observes or controls all of the web properties. We do work together collaboratively internally, and it can always be better. But in engineering, knowing how close they are to the products, they also handle customer support. They have a majority of the core web properties for Red Hat. So I was always kind of working off on the side with one major web property, but then there was a team that was working on numerous core web properties. And in this latest, and in the last couple of years, we started a conversation on how do we get even better at collaboration and even better at our web properties, looking as if they are very much in sync with experiences. And that requires different teams to work together. Well, while there's always active discussions on the ideas of the experiences, when it comes to the engineering side and actually building the experiences, the decision was a lot easier in terms of maybe we should bring this team that's over here on the side into a larger body of engineers And that's exactly what we did. There's a saying in America of birds of a feather flock together. And we were not really flocking with the birds. And so now we are sort of with this large flock of birds. And I'm surrounded by 250 people who understand what we do, they get what we do, and we're all working towards experiences, which is why there's UX in my title and in our organization's title. And we're going through a lot of change right now, even in engineering around this. So it's sort of a catalyst. There's a lot of things converging. The business is changing. The external landscape is changing. We're having some org changes. Now we are taking a look at how we're organized now in engineering and making some changes there. So I'm really excited. It's great. And I think the team is very happy to be doing this, and they recognize it. They've always been great, have great attitudes, but now they really feel like that they found like their home place.
Awesome. So it all comes down to the user experience, isn't it? So now that you're leading it, I'm pretty sure that it's going to get much better for the net and the engagements that you are part of. Awesome. So Brent, a quick question to you. Over these years between Axelerant and Red Hat, right, we have worked on a number of projects, and like you mentioned, right, largely the team has stuck. I think, like I guess Kunal, George, Vatsal, Inderpreet, now Shiva, and I'm sure I'm missing few names over here, but a lot of people have stuck with the Red Hat team in here. Could you highlight one or two projects that really had a biggest impact on your operations or your initiatives?
Well, I saw that question and I was like, gosh, like we were mentioning before, how the careers have changed for Piyush and myself. Over the years, I've kind of gotten away from a lot of that delivery. So forgive me if we have some former team members listening in, like, that was a long time ago, Brent. And sorry. But I would say one defining moment when I mentioned how we found out that people had other skills was with our web store. Marketing keeps us busy. Marketing wants to do a lot of different things, and they can be rather disparate in comparison, and we were running out of resources, and our web store was in JavaScript. It had back-end components, as you can imagine, with transactions of export compliance and taxes and product SKUs and things of that nature. So it was a little bit of a different application than our property of Drupal itself. We quickly found out that Axelerant, we could, turn them loose on that. We thought we would have to provide some oversight and so forth. And I apologize if I'm going to get the wrong name, but it was either Vatsal or Kunal that was working on that and really just led the initiative and made some improvements there. I know that they've been instrumental in the Axelerant team, that is instrumental in our upgrade ultimately to Drupal 10. And their blog migrations, we're trying back to branding and how to have a consistent experience. We have blogs on various platforms, WordPress and other areas, different. And people who own those blogs, they had their own ideas on how they would want the site to look. And we kind of got better over time. But then we built a really good blog experience on redhat.com that took those stakeholders into consideration and what they wanted. Like, what do you like in these tools that you don't have in Drupal? And how can we provide you with some of these features? And we worked through that. And now we're migrating this content, trying to draw visitors to the redhat.com domain and to www and bring them into our pool of experiences. So our net promoter scores have gone up. Our pipeline has been increasing. So there's a lot that Axelerant has been a part of to help us improve our business. And these are things that our chief marketing officer comments on. Her boss, her manager, watches these numbers as well. So we're not the only ones, but Axelerant has been a vital part of the machine, if you will, and generating good numbers for Red Hat.
That's working. Sorry, that's working with your team. And then there has been, other initiatives that our folks have been working on as well, developer portal, and recently looking into data science and DevOps. So yeah, just wanted to add to what you just shared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. DevOps, they are very important. DevOps is very important. And you mentioned Shiva and Inderpreet. And Inderpreet's been one of these long timers with us. And we absolutely loved Inderpreet and his skills. If it's something new he didn't know, he's not afraid. He will go out there and learn it. And we will learn together in many cases. But those are the unsung heroes. Whatever appears on the glass gets all the accolades. But without the DevOps, it all falls apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Since we are name dropping the projects, right? Ankur reminded me to talk about the opensource.com as well. I guess that was the first engagement long back. Yeah, I guess, and Ankur himself actually coded, I guess, events calendar. Oh, yeah, yes, excellent folks. Ankur used to code, but not anymore.
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I need some help on reminding me of the different initiatives. Yes, open source, that has been a long time, huge numbers in terms of visitors, unique visitors to that site. And that was with another team. I mean, it was almost like a satellite team to our team, where you mentioned Jason Hibbett's name before. There was the trust factor there of Accelerant working with Jason. Jason was not in IT. He was not in a technical department. He was actually in marketing, but he obviously learned the technical needs of the properties. But the combination worked, and a lot of great success there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and with all of these different technologies, like, because it was such a long journey, right? I mean, a lot of our team members have felt that their skills, they work hard to kind of upgrade their skills as well, be it Drupal, DevOps, and beyond as well, right? I know, Piyush, maybe we want to bring upon our 35 work week initiative and how Red Hat was supportive for that in entirety.
That was a great gesture, Brent. Just wanted to bring this for the rest of the who are watching this. When we switched from 40 to 35 hours work week, and we reached out to you seeking your approval, because the number of hours in every week will kind of go down. So the productivity will decline by a few percentage here and there. Accelerant would invest into the remaining hours into the team, ourselves, for upskilling, cross-skilling, and overall engagement. That's when you kindly offered, saying you can continue passing that cost on to us. So consider it as an investment into this team. So the Red Hat team managed by Accelerant. It's kind of, that close collaboration between, I would say, trusted advisors and two close partners, where both of you are investing into the entity and the team. So thank you again for the gesture, and thank you again for that support.
Yes, I mean, sure. I mean, even looking back on that, Piyush, it was the right decision. It was the right call. Look, if you are running an agency similar to Accelerant and you can quickly swap people out, resources out, there's probably it's probably a problem somewhere else, because it's expensive to keep people on a bench waiting to just jump into a project, right? So there's always that delicate balance of, running that lean operation. And so we could sit here and say, well, we're going to go try and find somebody else with these skills already. And it could take 3 months, 4 months, things of that nature. Or why don't we just expose the training opportunities at Red Hat to Accelerant and have them, again, that closer collaboration with Red Hat, and upskill them in a much, much shorter time. So at the end of the day, some people might look at it as unorthodox, but I think it was the right decision to do. And I'm glad that they were able, it was a win-win. We win, the individuals win, Accelerant wins. That's 3 wins, but you get the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it, right? I'm kind of reminded of, garden of flowers, right? I mean, you can't really pull and then replace it by something else. But at the same time, the challenge is, hey, can you grow a tulip into a rose flower? Kind of challenge accepted. And, I'm glad we have team members flexible enough to commit to that. And, we've been able to deliver those things.
Now, but again, technical gadgets to biological gadgets.
Absolutely. But couldn't happen, absolutely loved it.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been always on it, and then I'm sure, right? I mean, our Red Hat team members, they don't really want to work with other customers. They are spoiled, I guess, or rather, they got that environment which helped them not only as an individual, but then they were able to see the impact that they created as well. So all of it kind of coming together, right? It's kind of a give and take over here, right? But Brent, on the other hand, right, no relationship, like especially when two organizations work together, right? I mean, no relationships are without their challenges, right? Were there any challenges or hiccups that you recollect, and where we were able to work together and overcome over the period of time?
There were 2. And you're like, wow, Brent, that was quick. Well, because there are only 2. That's why they're so quick on top of my mind. And no one's going to get it right the first time. But I remember where I believe it was a DevOps situation, and we brought a resource in. I believe we did have a chance to interview the person, perhaps, although we would not normally do that. And because we put trust in Accelerant to go find those resources, because Accelerant is just as invested as we are. And the resource did not work out the way we thought, and we made a quick swap out. That happens. No one's going to be perfect in all this. And so we were able to start the search again and find some others, another person for that role. I believe, I don't know if it was George but there was one period where someone had left on their own, voluntary leave, Accelerant. And it took about maybe 3 months. It seemed like a long time. I'm not sure of the exact time, but it seemed like it took a long time. And in all transparency, it got me thinking about, just various ways to try and avoid that in the future. And Piyush and the team were very helpful. And I think we got even more involved in that hire, I believe it was. But those are the only two pieces. We've made hires that were not a good fit before, even as Red Hatters. We've taken a long time to find Red Hat employees in our job searches. So it's nothing unique to Accelerant, but those are the only two things, quite frankly. We've never had anybody accidentally take redhat.com down or everybody's been really great. It's been really great. So yeah.
No,
been
I'm glad.
a lot
I'm
of
glad these are only two.
things come to
But
mind.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think you're right. Obviously, it takes time to kind of be aware of each other's strengths as well. And I'm glad that we were able to kind of overcome these challenges quickly enough to have this long journey, right? So we have some questions pouring in from our audience as well. I'll go from, there's a question from Sachin. With Reddit having so many vendors in their ecosystem that are larger in scale, larger in scale as compared to Excellent, I guess. What are the key differences that you see or you have experienced with Excellent that you don't see it with others, I guess, and that made you stick with us?
It's the value. I go back to it. It's the value where the larger vendors command a higher price point. Sometimes you wonder if you're getting your money's worth sometimes. So that's why I think relationship with Accelerant has been so long is it's a fair price, it's a good price, and it's very good resources, it's quality. So some people may think I put too much emphasis on a price point, but that's not part of our everyday life, even our personal lives, right? You're going to go to the store and you're going to try and find, well, I could spend top dollar and take a chance on it being maybe no better than what is a lower price, right? So we do this in our personal lives. And so I really take a lot of that to work with me. And that's why the relationship has been so long, quite frankly. It was not that we were having a bad experience after bad experiences. It's, oh, now I know why the price is the way it is. That's not what it was. It was like, wow, don't tell anybody else because we found something really good here. But I'm kidding because Accelerant wants to grow, and and Piyush mentioned working with the developers portal and so forth. And so, where possible, other people have been able to experience Accelerant. And I don't know if I had anything to do with that or not, Piyush, but I know if people were looking for what we were doing and had similar technical needs and they didn't mind working with a different time zone, I would certainly share Accelerant's name.
A question from me on this one, Brent. How does your team, people you work with, kind of perceive you as like a protector of Accelerant team members, like advocate, or is it neutral, pretty much? Like, how's the eternal vibe?
Yeah. So the opportunities have been few and far between. You mentioned Jason Hibbets, which I think
Yep.
was one of those areas. Engineering rarely will use what we would say in a very general fashion, external labor. They tend to hire people more. When I was in IT, there were not a lot of other teams. There were no other teams, quite frankly, that did what we did. If they did do it, it was for internal experiences for Red Hatters. So my pool of influence was a little bit smaller, but it also was the philosophy of some other teams. And so I didn't even know that you had a relationship with developers until we were looking at contract renewal one time. And I was glad to see that. But um, people know who has experience in what area, and they will seek them out and ask for their advice. And you mentioned the open source book from Jim Whitehurst, and I think that's pretty much the open source way kind of an idea. We've tried, Piyush, you remember, we tried recently to get Accelerant out there in other areas and different skill sets with different teams as we were making some changes internally. So whenever possible, if I am recommending someone or a company, my reputation is there as well. So I'm not going to recommend someone who did not perform well for me. So I take it very seriously. So I can't say that I've had a lot of tremendous success for you in terms of external sales agency for you, but I know that if anyone were to come ask, or if I did see an opportunity, I would certainly say you've got to go and talk to this company, Accelerant, because I think you'll be pleased.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the trust that you have instilled in us right from the beginning. I mean, usually it takes a lot of time to do that. I've seen like And this is one team where we frankly didn't knew much what's going on. Like the team's happy, what's going on. Brent and everyone else are engaged, and that's pretty much what we need to know. But it's really that peace of mind that always came to us when it came to Red Hat and the developers that were working on the engagements of this white. So yeah, incredible journey. And while one other thing I can say that, thanks to the team for being able to deliver good value so that you had always got us, transparently. We were also able to gain a lot of value from, Red Hat as a company that we work for externally. Many times we do not publish it, everywhere because, obviously we have to be cautious of, what's publicly possible, etc. But the fact that we have been supporting Red Hat in some of their core initiatives has created a lot of genuineness in, who Accelerant is and the differentiator that we may be as opposed to a lot of other I wouldn't call the word Goliaths, but we've surely been a successful David in this long game. So,
Yeah. And that's
so yeah.
great. That's really good. I for years we've worked with other vendors because maybe there were requirements to have someone who was in North America. And it just, so it all really depends. Meanwhile, Accelerant has always been there, continuing to do good work. And it's always good for me to hear about how when people come in from the outside of Red Hat, so to speak, how do they view our operation? How do they view the way
Yeah.
we approach getting work done? And I really cannot think of a time when someone said, man, this team, it needs a lot of help. It's always people don't want to leave. Like you said, they don't want to leave. We want to do good jobs. We want to produce as much as possible. We also want to put out a quality product. I think probably what the Accelerant engineers would appreciate, and we've kind of tapped on this a little bit with the training, is, they want to have the time to do a good job. They want to be able to have permission to, it's not quite right. Well, then make it right. Get it
Yeah.
to, don't make it perfect, but make it to where you can be proud of what you've done. And I hope that beyond the book of open source by Jim Whitehurst, open source organization, I hope that the team has learned just by day in and day out working with Red Hat that, if I go to another customer, another client, and they're asking me for advice, I hope they would share some experiences they'd have with Red Hat. And that would be the ultimate compliment, that to take what we've done together and extend that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And
100%.
I think it's not only within the team. I guess our team members have shared it to the other teams as well, and then carry out those same open source ethos over there as well. While we are kind of close to our kind of showtime as well, there are a few comments and questions from our audiences as well. And Brent, I would like to bring it up. Starting with, there's one from Ankur. How do you suggest we evolve to remain relevant to Red Hat? While there's a value at the cost aspect that you already spoke about, is there anything else that we can do as an agency to evolve further?
Yes. And Piyush knows this very well. We've had some external influence with IBM. So IBM, they own Red Hat, obviously. Traditionally, it's played in a much larger space than Red Hat has. When I joined 13 years ago, as Piyush mentioned in the beginning, there were 3,000 employees at Red Hat, and now I think we're just below 20,000. So we've grown a lot, but we're nowhere near the size of IBM. And we always knew that the relationship between IBM and Red Hat is Red Hat had a great product that IBM had been trying to develop on their own, but we didn't have as deep pockets and rich relationships like IBM did. So if you take these two things and put them together, it's going to be a really good solution. Well, in that same idea, IBM is working with other rather large companies. And in smart business, you have to create partnerships with other companies. So Adobe has come up to where IBM and Adobe have invested a lot in each other. And because of that investment, we are currently trying to figure out how can we leverage Adobe more. We've made an investment with Adobe as a partnership. We should not just ignore it. So what is the right balance between Drupal, Adobe, personalization? Adobe has a very good best-in-class algorithms, for lack of a better word, on creating those personalized experiences, collecting the data, massaging that data, understanding who is on what device, and delivering the right experience. And I think that it's something, if Accelerant is able to do that, not just for Red Hat's sake, but for other opportunities, but certainly at Red Hat, is understanding more about that Adobe Drupal relationship. We don't know it. We're trying to figure it out. There are normal responses, typical responses of like, oh gosh, what does this mean for, my job or my skill set? But it goes back to upskilling. We think we
Yes.
have very smart engineers at Red Hat. And I think that the engineers at Accelerant are very smart to where, as you can see by the gray in my beard, I've been doing this for quite some time. And I have taught myself to not be concerned about the change, but it's about how you respond to that change. And we're given resources to upskill ourselves. So let's go
Yes.
upskill, let's go embrace it, and let's see what we can make of it. And I really hope there's an opportunity in the future for us to work with Accelerant again in that capacity and start the journey all over again with a whole different set of technologies. So we're leveraging a lot of Salesforce. And we're just, Red Hat is in a state of transformation. We are looking at these. We have some large vendors. We're probably looking to change some large vendor technologies out. But I think that like the major partnerships between IBM and Salesforce and Adobe and SAP and how they impact Red Hat, it's only at the beginning. But if Accelerant has the option or ability, start understanding some of those spaces, I think would be helpful.
No, absolutely. I think this reminds me. I mean, we have been talking about Adobe internally as well. By the way, personalization is something we are adopting, not dedicatedly focused on Adobe as of now, but things like Adobe Target, right? I mean, I understand what you mean by how they massage the data and then put it out. They have some really good ways of doing it as compared to the other platforms that are out there, right? So plus one to that, I mean, Adobe is one of the core area we were kind of thinking about, and Salesforce as well. But again, these are the kind of discussions maybe I would love to talk more about it. What else can be there? Because as part of our DXP practice, we are expanding our wings as well to adopt some of these technologies as well. So yeah, looking forward to have those discussions as well in the future. There's another question that we have from Karthik. How does Red Hat see its role evolving in the open source ecosystem, and where do you see the most significant opportunity for collaboration? I guess you've already answered a part of it by mentioning Adobe, Salesforce, and SAPs of the world. But then, are there any other open source ecosystem specific initiatives as well?
AI is all the rage nowadays. Yes, there's proprietary products within IBM with Watson X, but Red Hat, we are on the cusp of going public with our own AI product in terms of, with Ansible. We have Ansible Lightspeed today. It's certainly influenced a lot by open source, but I would say that right now AI is the big draw for many people for many good reasons.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
just
you
to
cannot get off a call without talking about the AI, I guess. But yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, just to add to that, earlier this year we had a few conversations, and Sachin was listening, would vouch for this, talking about things like, hey, I mean, how about building the Drupal module for Watson Next and stuff like that. So connected with Mark Everest in UK, and we tried to pull a few strings, but I believe we didn't do enough. So definitely that's something we would love to double down. But that's a great suggestion there,
Yeah.
Brent, for us. And I'm glad, good timing, because we have started investing into ecosystems outside of, the core Drupal, JavaScript, Laravel, and a few others that we used to. And seeing success, small successes. So, and Ankur, hope your question is answered. There's a lot that we should discuss probably in the next strategy call next week on the same lines. But yeah, that's a good suggestion.
All right.
It kind of, keeps us energized and highly excited about, everything that we've achieved so far and the future. The future is bright, and, the relationship that we've built over the years with Red Hat, I am confident, we'll do a lot more, lot many things. We're already doing that, right? From a single maintenance project vendor to a working with multiple departments, multiple initiatives, and then, there's a lot more to be achieved. So thank you, Brent. Thank you so much for that. And over to
Yeah.
Prateek.
So thank you, Brendan. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. It's been a fantastic conversation, Brendan. I want to thank you for taking your time to share your insights and experiences. It's always a pleasure hearing about how our partnership with Reddit has evolved over this period of time and the positive impact that we are creating or achieving together. And a big thank you to you as well, Piyush, for helping guide today's discussion. It's been a lot of fun to co-host this with you. As well. Any other last insights from you, Piyush or Brent, before we wrap up today's show?
I will add data to AI, AI in data, AI in data. They're back to the last question because I didn't give like a list of 5 things, but I have a peer of mine in the team who going through some internal conversations. We are going to be bolstering his team to get more and more serious in the AI and data space. And so who knows what the future holds there. There could be some opportunities there. AI and data, big solutions like Adobe and SAP and Salesforce. Try to build some skills there and just keep being accelerant and say, I could do this, I can do that, I can do this. So keep yourself rich with skills.
Absolutely. I mean, you've already given a list of the things to work upon, something we were there on our list as well, but you have nudged us gently to kind of get together our act and then act on those things faster that we are planning to. So thank you so much for your inputs, Brent. Highly appreciate your time. And until next time, please take care and stay innovative like Red Hat is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.